So Bria Hartley is driving in. Sophie Cunningham, or Kelsey Mitchell comes down. Sophie Cunningham overhelps. And Bria Hartley just kind of plows through her leg by the looks of things. She kind of plows through the knee. And Sophie's holding like her patella.
Sophie Cunningham. Oh, man. I got to tell you, this victory, it came with a big price. Bria Hartley, let me just start there because we've got Sophie Cunningham's sister and mother weighing in on the league, and Bria Hartley right here. This is Hartley right here coming in.
She tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls
and
and
she crushes in
immediately
on the knee of Sophie right here.
She went down hard and was.
And that was it.
The WNBA just witnessed something that has fans ready to burn down the entire league. Sophie Cunningham, the enforcer who's been protecting Caitlin Clark all season, just got taken out in the most suspicious way possible, and now her family is exposing everything wrong with women's basketball.
As an Indiana Fever fan, this absolutely sucks. I mean, first we lose CC. We don't know when she's coming back, if she's coming back. And now this happens to Sophie Cunningham. Are we just cursed?
This is the play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg. You see her immediately grab it.
What you're about to see isn't just another injury. This is the latest casualty in what's becoming the most controversial season in WNBA history. When a player's own mother starts calling out opponents by name and her sister is demanding federal investigations, you know something bigger is happening here. The play looked innocent enough at first. Bria Hartley driving to the basket, Sophie Cunningham sliding over to help defend, but then Hartley just falls directly into Cunningham's knee, and suddenly the Fever season might be over. Sophie went down screaming in pain, clutching her patella, and you could literally hear her agony echoing through the arena.
It looked bad. She's going to be done for the year. I don't know how much longer the Indiana Fever can continue to survive with these injuries. I just have to be honest. I gotta be real. We lost Sydney Colston to a torn ACL. Ari McDonald broken bone in her foot. Caitlin Clark has played like 12 games all year or something like that. Dewana Bonner scammed us. I mean, it's been a complete shit show, to say the least. It's been a shit show. I just gotta be honest.
But here's where it gets wild. This isn't some freak accident. Sophie Cunningham has been fined 4 times this season for calling out referee incompetence. She's been the voice speaking truth about how officials are failing to protect players. And now those same refs just watched her get taken out by what looked like a completely avoidable collision. The video evidence is damning. You can see Hartley's approach, the way she falls into Sophie's knee, and the immediate aftermath. Sophie's grabbing her leg, rolling in visible agony, and the refs are just standing there like nothing happened. No flagrant foul call, no review, just another injury to add to the pile.
I mean, immediately in the game, the refs was just on some ish, bro. Just on something, and y'all know what I always say, man. What if Sophie or somebody was your aunt, your niece, your daughter? You know, you got to put yourself in reality, you know, because she is somebody's daughter, she is somebody's sister, and this is just unfortunate. And those of you who don't think a civil rights investigation need to be brought upon this league is tripping. This civil rights investigation.
Sophie's sister Lindsay didn't hold back on social media. She went directly at the WNBA with a post that's now viral. Maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call consistent games and protect your athletes. Pathetic. That word pathetic is trending across WNBA Twitter right now because it perfectly captures what fans are feeling about this entire situation. The league's priorities are completely backward. They'll fine a player $1,500 for making a TikTok about bad refs, but they won't protect that same player from getting injured by those exact same officiating failures.
Sophie Cunningham lying down, clearly in pain, visible pain, agony, pain, stays down. Got to cut to commercial. The medical staff comes around her. She looks like she walked off on her own accord, but it looked like she walked off in pain on her own accord. Out for the rest of the game. Only played 10 minutes. And that's where Lexi Hall needed to step up, and step up she did. Step up she
Even Sophie's mother, Paula, jumped into the controversy before apparently deleting her comments. But screenshots live forever, and fans captured her calling Bria Hartley a dirty player who plays mean and out of control. When a player's family is this fired up, you know there's more to the story than what we're seeing on camera. Here's what makes this situation absolutely insane. The Indiana Fever have now lost 4 key players to injuries this season. 4. Caitlin Clark has missed 19 of 32 games with 3 separate muscle injuries. Sydney Colson is done for the year with a torn ACL. Irie McDonald is out with a broken bone in her foot. And now Sophie Cunningham joins the casualty list.
Sophie's sister Lindsay and her mom Paula. At WNBA, maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game, protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, officially, my 2 favorite players in this league that I really love to, particularly love to pull for, they're both out now. And it did not look good. No word on that, by the way.
You know what normal teams lose in an entire season? Maybe one starter if they're unlucky. But the Fever are dropping players like they're cursed. Except fans aren't buying the bad luck narrative anymore. They're seeing patterns that the league desperately doesn't want them to notice. Think about the timeline here. Early season, Clark gets injured and misses weeks. She comes back, starts dominating, then immediately gets hurt again. She returns once more, drops 32 points on the defending champion New York Liberty, then gets injured the very next game against Connecticut. She hasn't played since.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
You can literally hear her screaming in pain. It's so heartbreaking. Indiana Fever star guard Sophie Cunningham, the enforcer, had a lower leg injury today against the Connecticut Suns.
Now with Clark still sidelined, the Fever start struggling against teams they should beat. Then McDonald and Colson both suffer season-ending injuries in the same game. And just when Sophie Cunningham is stepping up as a leader, she gets taken out too. At what point do we stop calling this coincidence and start calling it conspiracy? The conspiracy theories are spreading faster than the league can control them. Fans are pointing out how Clark and the Fever brought massive attention to women's basketball, but they also exposed how inferior the rest of the product was. Casual viewers tuning in for Clark were witnessing blowout victories that made other teams look amateur.
When they got a damn lawsuit, it is Sophie as well. It's Sophie as well. Just the amount of calls, the way she's been treated. Watch. I mean, just immediately. First, look at this. Instantly into the game. Instantly. Immediately, Sophie got hammered. They had a target to hurt Sophie. She was targeted by this team for a reason. They wanted to hurt Sophie. They made it their business to hurt Sophie.
From the league's perspective, maybe they needed to level the playing field. And what better way than to systematically remove the Fever's competitive advantages through convenient injuries and non-calls? It sounds crazy until you start looking at the evidence. The officiating has been atrocious all season. Sophie Cunningham has been calling it out, getting fined every time, but she keeps speaking up because somebody has to. She's posted videos of missed calls, body checks that weren't called as fouls, and elbows to the neck that refs claimed were flops. Each time she gets fined, fan support grows stronger. GoFundMe campaigns cover her penalties within hours. Petitions demanding referee accountability pull in thousands of signatures overnight. The WNBA's response: more fines, more sanctions, more attempts to silence the truth.
I told y'all Bria Hartley is a dirty player. She's no different than Dejanay Carrington. It just doesn't get as much publicity because the Connecticut Sun stink. Point blank, period. She's reckless. She injured Sophie Cunningham. It is a travesty. Stephanie White, you better go and you need to be buying Kelsey Mitchell food all week. You need to send her a personal masseuse because she saved your job tonight. Your ass should have been fired if y'all had lost today. Point blank and period. You was horrible. Bro, before you could sneeze, we was down by 10 plus points in the first quarter.
But now that truth is becoming impossible to ignore. When you fine a player for calling out referee incompetence, and then that same referee incompetence leads to her getting injured, you've basically proven her point better than any argument could. The financial implications are staggering. The Fever's playoff chances have dropped from 99.2% to 87.1% as these injuries pile up. They've fallen from 6th to 7th place, with teams like Seattle and LA breathing down their neck. ESPN still gives Indiana an 87% chance to make the playoffs, but that number drops every game. Clark sits on the bench. With 10 games left in the regular season, the Fever are in a desperate race against time to get healthy before this injury epidemic costs them everything.
There's only 13 teams in the WNBA. 8 of them go to the playoffs. Not 6, not 4, 8. Over 50% of them go to the playoffs. So when you are supposed to win games that you're supposed to win, you're supposed to just take care of business. I don't care if they lost Caitlin Clark. They still have Kelsey Mitchell. They have Aaliyah Boston, Sophie Cunningham. Hope she feels better. Lexi Hall. They have talent on this team. They have enough talent. Howard.
The boycott movement is gaining serious momentum. Social media has exploded with hashtags supporting Sophie Cunningham and demanding referee accountability. Video evidence of missed calls spreads faster than the league can contain the narrative. Former coaches and players are speaking out about obvious bias in officiating. Fans are organizing viewing boycotts of games not featuring the Fever. They're canceling WNBA League Pass subscriptions. Merchandise sales are tanking. The league thought they could silence criticism with fines, but they've only amplified the voices calling for change. TV ratings tell the real story. Since Clark's injury, viewership has dropped over 50%. The WNBA needs their golden goose healthy and playing, but their own officials seem determined to prevent that from happening.
And we have no idea when Caitlin Clark is coming back or if she is coming back at all. Every time that they get asked, they just say TBD. We have no idea what's going on, which is, in my opinion, quite suspicious. You kind of know what is going to happen with an injury. The doctors can give you an estimate. The player can tell you, you know, I'm not really feeling that great. I don't expect to be coming back, but she has been practicing with the team. Maybe she's going to come back for the playoffs and help them get that championship, or at least try to get the championship.
Christine Brennan of USA Today captured it perfectly after watching the officiating disaster. The WNBA failed to rise to the occasion. People are watching like never before, and this is what they witnessed. The league is getting unprecedented attention, and their response is letting referees turn games into demolition derbies. The championship window for this Fever team is rapidly closing. They built what they called a win now roster with veterans who know how to win. Vegas odds makers had them as serious contenders, but you can't compete when your core players are systematically removed from competition.
Sophie's mother, Paula Hartley, is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control. So, what can you say? I do not blame Sophie's mother and sister for being upset. Marina Mabrey went nuts in this game, scored 27.
Cheryl Swoops, arguably Caitlin Clark's biggest critic, even predicted the Fever would win the championship. But that was before the injury epidemic hit, before the targeting became so obvious that players' families are demanding federal investigation. Sophie Cunningham's injury isn't just another player getting hurt. It's the latest evidence that the WNBA has completely lost control of its product. When officials get tacit permission to let certain teams get mauled while protecting others, when the front office cares more about control than growth, you get situations like this. The league didn't count on one thing though. The fans aren't buying their narrative anymore. Every missed call gets dissected on social media. Every suspicious injury gets analyzed frame by frame. Every fine issued for speaking truth only validates what players have been saying all along.
This is a play where Sophie Cunningham is dribbling toward the baseline. As you can see, she catches the ball in the wing, dribbles down, and then JC Sheldon kind of body checks her out of bounds, but the referee didn't call a foul there. He just called it an out of bounds. Like Sophie Cunningham ran out of bounds is what he called. So you watch her here, dribbles, pushed out of bounds. Sophie's like, oh, of course, it's going to be a foul. No, it wasn't. That wasn't a foul. This one, she actually quote tweeted herself. As you can see, she's running up and then Hartley kind of elbows her in the neck and Sophie falls to the ground. Now she reposted this and she said, "They said I flopped, LOL." So I guess the referees told her that she flopped on that play, or the players, who knows. Somebody told her that she flopped on that play. This is Aaliyah Boston and Tina Charles, and they are battling in the post.
What happens next will determine whether the WNBA survives its biggest moment or destroys itself from within. The Fever still have a shot at the playoffs if they can get healthy. But with Sophie Cunningham now joining Clark on the injury list, and officials showing no signs of improving their protection of star players, that window is closing fast. The boycott movement isn't going anywhere. If anything, it's getting stronger. Fans have invested too much emotional energy in this team, and this season to watch it get sabotaged by league incompetence. They're demanding accountability, transparency, and most importantly, protection for the players who made the WNBA relevant again. Sophie Cunningham's injury might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Her family's explosive response has given voice to what millions of fans are thinking. The WNBA's golden era could be ending before it ever really began, not because of competition or market forces, but because the league couldn't protect its own biggest stars. The question now isn't whether fans will keep watching, it's whether there will be anything worth watching by the time this season ends.